Hello everyone, welcome to part 24, 24 parts already of my refit build. Hopefully it won't go on too much longer, but we're getting on the home stretch with the secondary hull and saucer anyway. But as you can see, I've been decaling. I finished the lower saucer, which looks fabulous, and I've been working on the secondary hull. And I've done the bottom and one side so far of the Aztec decals. They actually look pretty good. And I also started laying on the strongbacks. Now these strongbacks were stinkers because they do not curve to conform to the shape of the hull. So you always have little wrinkles here and there no matter what you do. And that drove me nuts. So I wound up making a couple of slight cuts so that I could get them to lay down properly. But God, they were really fun. Jerry at HTA Modelworks has a set of strongbacks. He's actually got the 1701A and the 1701 sets that are incredibly well done, and they are much better quality than these were. But I wanted to use the kit decals to save on cost. Remember, this was the uber low end one, so I'm gonna keep going on this thing. We've got the rest of the deflector housing to do. We've got the neck to do, and the top of the saucer, and the pylons, and the other side, and we're done. Which sounds like a lot, but it's really not. I'd say I'm about halfway there on the secondary hull with decals, so it's coming right along. So I will be back soon with more progress. The plan is once I get these decals all done and all laid down, I'm going to finish the deflector housing and the deflector dish and get this all wired up properly so that we can attach that permanently. And then I'm going to go and continue work on the warp nacelles, which I've actually been light blocking and getting them on the way as well. So I'm hoping that when I'm done with this, they're ready to assemble. They're not going to take nearly as long as this whole thing did. They're only one model kit instead of two, so we'll make short work of those. But yeah, they're turning out really great. They, as you can see, the decals look fantastic. They're very subtle and they look fabulous. So yeah, they're a great alternative to painting if you're not wanting to paint your entire ship. So anyway, more later. Welcome back, everybody. As you can see, I'm making progress with the Aztec decals. Here we are on the top. We are halfway done with the top here. And I've also completed the sides, both sides actually. So yeah, it's coming out pretty good. The only thing I would really change right now is the Tamiya light blue wasn't light, it wasn't blue enough. It has a little bit of green in it, so I would actually try to get it a little bluer. The Enterprise A is all about blue. This is actually a better color for the refit than the Enterprise A. So if I were going to change anything, that would be it. But otherwise, yeah, this thing's turning out really great. So I'll be back later with some more updates. We still have to do the dorsal, still have to finish up the strongbacks, and a couple other odds and ends, and then I can start doing the detail stuff. Nacelles are still out in the paint booth. I've put 2 coats of black on them, and I still have to do the white, so that'll be next. So see you in a bit. Okay, welcome back, everyone. So I took a break from decaling, which the ship is looking marvelous with the decals. I even started doing a little bit on the pylon there, but I started working with the deflector housing and deflector dish. And one of the things I was working with was creating a housing for the LED. And what I wound up using was I took a dust cover from it was like a travel hairspray. It was like that. Little cap you put on it that my wife had from her last trip, and I cut the end off so that it's just deep enough to house the LED, and I have it so that the LED goes right against the piece of paper in there, giving us our hotspot. So one thing that I think I'm going to do, though, is paint the inside. I'll just get my brush out and either some silver paint or white paint or something, and just paint the inside of that to give it a little bit more reflectivity. But otherwise, it's ready to roll. I actually tried both amber and the blue. There's the blue and the amber, of course. You just use the other wire and it works flawlessly. So it's exactly what we want. So yeah, this is just one of the ideas. There's several ways to do this, but this is the way that we came up with several years ago when I built the first one. And yeah, it's pretty neato. So once this is done, and the reason I haven't put it on yet is because I have to actually, when I permanently mount it, I have to get all the wiring done through the pole, and I'm not done pulling the ship off and putting it back on. So as soon as all the decals are on and I'm starting to get it pretty well mounted to the base somewhat permanently, I'll put the deflector dish on. So, but for now, I'm going to continue putting on decals and such, and we're going to try to get as close to being done with this thing as we can, at least this part of it. The other bit of news is my warp nacelles are completely light blocked, and yeah, they block the light pretty nicely. So I think we're ready to start doing construction on the warp nacelles. So that's going to be our next bit. So I will be back in a few moments. We're going to get a little bit more done, and I'll be back with a little bit of progress. So stay tuned. Okay, everyone, it's been probably 2 weeks since I recorded my last snippet, and this is where I'm at as far as the decals go. And yeah, there's a lot of decals, but we're actually getting pretty far along in the process. I've gotten registries on, all the Aztecs are on. It's looking really great. I'm really happy with how it's turning out. It's starting to get me excited about the end of the line. If you turn on the lights, it looks even better. But yeah, I've got the strongbacks on, I've got the pennants on, I've got the registries on. It still looks a mess in the light because of all of the chemicals and stuff you have to use on the decals, but don't worry, once it's all cleaned up and clear coated, it's going to look fabulous. Yeah, it's looking really, really good. Pennants came out great. The registries on the bottom of the saucer are on. It's just looking really, really good. So while I put the decals on, as you know, I put like 5 or 6 on, and then I have to let it dry. So over the last few days, what I've been doing is starting to work with the nacelles a little bit. I've gotten the LEDs to light up the chiller grills in on this one. Working with one right now. I've just drilled out the lighting on the front here. This particular, so this is the inboard side. So this LED here shines on the pennant, and this one here shines forward onto the saucer. So I've drilled these holes out so that they aim more or less the correct way. We'll see how it turns out. But I also drilled out the hole right there for the strobe light. And yeah, we're getting rolling on this. The construction on these won't take very long at all. What's going to take long is, of course, the whole painting process and the Aztec decals and all that. So we're rolling right along though with these. These will be probably assembled within a couple of weeks. So and once they're assembled, they can go through the whole painting process and get their decals, and they'll look fantastic too. But yeah, I figured you'd all want to see this. I haven't had a video up in quite a while, mostly because decals. So I figured I might finish up what I've been doing here and get a video out for you guys so that you can at least see where we're going with this thing. But yeah, it's looking really sharp. So I hope you all like it. Look, there's even a rectac. Ooh. Yeah, really happy with it so far. So this is really, this is the point where you start getting excited. You're like, ooh, look at this. Hey, we can even hook up this LED or this wire here, and we'll get impulse engines. Woo! Yeah, really, really cool. So yeah, let me get this video out, and then we'll have more. I'll probably have one out in 2 to 3 weeks with the nacelles, and I'll finish up on the decals on the main hull and the secondary hull, and we'll start getting this thing wrapped up. So I hope you all like it. The only thing, there's only a couple of spots where I really had problems with the decals. Once I put the bonder on the sheets, they came off real nice. They really cracked bad before that, so that's a bit of a trick. Use Tester's decal bonder on some of these decal sheets if they look a little squiffy, and everything should come off really well. So yeah. I mean, check that out. It looks pretty good. The decals, I love these things because they're so subtle. They're not you know, in your face. They're real subtle, so you get the look without, you know, going, look, I have Aztecs on this. So yeah, pretty nifty. So here we go. Ooh, Miss Owl. That's what it'll look like. So yeah, exciting. So anyway, I hope this video has been interesting for you. It's mostly been just look decals. So next time will be a little bit more further along. So I hope this has been of interest, and stay tuned for next time. See ya.